Avoidant individuals don't fall in love the way movies show. They don't chase intensity. They don't bond through emotional flooding. And they don't feel safe in relationships that demand too much too fast. Yet this doesn't mean avoidants can't love deeply. It means their nervous system requires a very specific emotional environment to open. Psychology, especially attachment theory, explains that avoidant attachment develops when emotional closeness once felt overwhelming, unsafe, or conditional. As adults, avoidants protect themselves not by rejecting love, but by controlling emotional exposure. They don't fall in love through pressure. They fall in love through emotional safety experienced repeatedly over time. Research by Dr. Amir Levine and Dr. Sue Johnson shows that avoidants bond when connection does not threaten their autonomy or self-structure. Love arrives quietly for them, not dramatically. Below are the 6 emotional experiences that slowly bypass their defenses and create genuine, lasting attachment. 1. Emotional safety without demand. For an avoidant, emotional safety is not about reassurance through words. It is about not being emotionally cornered. Avoidants open when they experience connection without expectation. No pressure to respond immediately. No punishment for needing space. No emotional interrogation. When someone allows them to exist without explanation, their nervous system relaxes. This is critical. Avoidants associate emotional demand with loss of autonomy. The moment they feel emotionally obligated, their instinct is to retreat. But when they experience closeness that does not ask for more, something changes. They start leaning in by choice, not fear. Psychologist John Bowlby, the founder of attachment theory, emphasized that secure bonding develops when proximity is offered, not enforced. Avoidants require this principle even more intensely. Example. You share something meaningful. They don't respond immediately. You don't react with disappointment or withdrawal. Later, they return, calmer, more open. That experience teaches their nervous system. Connection doesn't cost me myself. That is the beginning of love for an avoidant. 2. Consistency without emotional pressure. Avoidants are hypersensitive to emotional unpredictability. Not because they crave control, but because inconsistency once felt unsafe. They fall deeply when someone is emotionally steady. Not dramatic. Not hot and cold. Not intense one day and distant the next. Consistency builds trust in an avoidant's nervous system. When your behavior doesn't change based on their closeness or distance, they begin to feel safe enough to stay present. This is supported by research from Dr. Alan Shore, who studied affect regulation. He found that stable emotional environments help regulate insecure attachment patterns over time. For avoidants, consistency sends a powerful message. I don't have to perform emotionally to be accepted. And once that belief forms, attachment begins. They start sharing more. They initiate contact. They stay longer in emotional moments. Not because they're forced, but because their body no longer anticipates emotional danger. 3. Being seen without being analyzed. Avoidants often feel misunderstood. Many grew up having their emotions minimized, dismissed, or overanalyzed. So when someone sees them, without labeling, diagnosing, or fixing, it creates a profound emotional shift. They fall in love when they feel recognized, not examined. This means you listen without interrupting. You don't correct their emotional experience. You don't try to dig deeper when they're not ready. Psychologist Carl Rogers, a pioneer of humanistic psychology, emphasized that unconditional positive regard creates emotional safety and self-acceptance. Avoidants respond powerfully to this. Example. They share a childhood memory casually. You don't ask 10 follow-up questions. You simply acknowledge it. That moment tells them, my inner world can exist without being invaded. That experience builds emotional trust, the foundation of love. 4. Respect for autonomy without withdrawal. Avoidants need space, but not abandonment. This balance is where most relationships fail with avoidant partners. They fall deeply when they experience space that does not come with emotional punishment. You allow distance. But you don't disappear. You remain emotionally grounded and self-contained. This teaches them that autonomy and connection can coexist. According to self-determination theory, Deci and Ryan, autonomy is a basic psychological need. When relationships respect autonomy, intrinsic bonding increases. Avoidants bond not when they're chased, but when they are trusted. Over time, they begin choosing closeness more often, because it no longer threatens independence. Love grows where freedom is respected. 5. Emotional depth without chaos. Avoidants are not shallow. They are selective. They avoid emotional chaos, not intimacy. They fall in love when emotional depth is expressed calmly. No emotional explosions. No guilt-driven vulnerability. No intensity used as proof of love. When depth comes with stability, avoidance feels safe enough to engage. Psychologist Esther Perel explains that desire thrives in emotional spaciousness. Avoidants require that spaciousness to feel desire without threat. They open slowly. But when they do, it is real. They begin sharing thoughts they don't share with others. They seek your presence during stress. They emotionally anchor to you, quietly. That is deep love for an avoidant. 6. Acceptance without trying to change them. Nothing shuts down an avoidant faster than feeling like a project. They fall deeply when they are accepted as they are, not tolerated with the hope of change. This does not mean you abandon your needs. It means you don't communicate needs through criticism or correction. When avoidants feel accepted, they become more willing to grow voluntarily. Research in attachment repair shows that felt acceptance precedes behavioral change, not the other way around. When they sense you are not trying to mold them, their defenses soften. They stop guarding. They stay emotionally present longer. They attach. Love, for avoidants, is not losing themselves. It's finding a place where they don't have to protect themselves. How avoidants act when they fall deeply. When an avoidant falls in love, it doesn't look dramatic. It looks like consistent presence, quiet loyalty, emotional reliability, slow but steady commitment. They won't announce it loudly. They'll show it in staying. And that love, once formed, is often more stable than people expect. Because it wasn't rushed. It wasn't forced. It was built through emotional safety. If you are connected to an avoidant, or if you recognize avoidant traits in yourself, remember this. Love does not require intensity. It requires safety. And when safety is felt deeply enough, even the most guarded hearts open.